Go this way. All right. Good morning. I'm here at my office. I have a 30-minute window, actually 28-minute window. And this is going to be opponents of print books, digital books. So let me grab my props here real quick. All right. So last week when we did proponents of print books, we talked about, because we always address the other side, there's something about the sensory, the feel of the book, you know, the face, the spine, the back. We read slower. There's deeper comprehension when we read from a printed book. And that's just a hard thing to counter argue. And I'm not going to try to counter argue that. What I am going to do is argue what's great about these. So I want to show you first and foremost, like I showed you last week, this is a $29 book. So obviously the downside to print books is they are expensive, right? And these days we don't even have bookstores. So you have to order books online. So then you may pay tax and shipping, which adds to the cost. So this book, same book, I have online. Show you on my, was showing how many I had on there. Lessons in Chemistry. I looked up the price, $14.99. Okay. So I'm also going to tell you, I have a digital library of 467 books on here. Yeah. Come on, function-wise, ebook wins hands down. And I'm not a technology person. And I love books. Clearly, I'm a voracious reader. There is a functionality about ebooks that cannot be denied. So if you go in your packet, there's a page, and I believe it starts on page 9, and it says, so sorry, benefits of ebooks in schools for students. So I'm not the only one who's recognized this functionality. Schools are right on board with it too. Cost-wise, especially a public school, they can get more bang for their buck, right? The cost to download is usually half or less than the cost of a printed version, not to mention upkeep. You know, where am I going to store hundreds of textbooks? I can store it on a device. Right? That's pretty cool. I remember growing up with my backpack with my heavy textbooks, and sometimes I'd forget my textbook at home. Can't do that on an ebook, can you? Textbook's right there with you the whole time, right? So boy, does it make it more convenient for teachers and students, both sides. So technology has transformed the way we work, the way we entertain ourselves with reading. Every facet of our world today is technology based. So it's no surprise that ebooks make education easier as well, as making our lives easier. When I book a flight, I usually download 3 or 4 books, even with my, you know, sometimes I'll reread something, but I kind of like a new book, and I will download them. So even if I get on the plane, I don't have to have internet access. I can be offline once I've downloaded it, which is cool, right? And I don't have to carry 4 or 5 books on the plane. So function-wise, convenience-wise, cost-wise, check, check, check. Okay. The other thing about a book, we don't want to deface a book. Well, you know, this is obviously not defaced. The only thing I've done that's defaced the book, and you're not supposed to do it, but I actually like to do it, is dog ear it. You're actually not supposed to, you know, really hardcore print books do not want you to dog ear a book. But you want to keep it in pristine condition. And you know how kids are with books, textbooks and novels and required reading. They're not very careful with them, right? You're not allowed to highlight them. You're not allowed to take notes in them, even though kids do it when they're not supposed to. If you have a digital copy, you can put notes in the margin. It's your copy. you can highlight it. You can even highlight it different colors. That's cool. The other thing is you can look up information in an ebook textbook or an ebook novel. So I can literally on my device, I was trying to come up with, I had ordered a book for my son. This is about the fate of Europe's treasures in the Third Reich in the Second World War. And it was about how Hitler stole all the art. It wasn't just the atrocities with the Jewish culture and, the systemic racism. It was, he would go in and steal their art. If he invaded a country, he felt like their art was, his for the taking. So we're talking Picasso's, Matisse, whatever he found, he thought he deserved to have them. So my son was doing a project and it just happened to be late at night. He had a history professor, this was college, who said you had to have 5 books, 6 periodicals. It was just, very precise in their instructions. And he was 1 book short. Bookstores were closed. And I said, okay, let's order it on my Kindle. Let's just order it. And it was so easy. All we had to do was look up the keyword and we found the exact thing we needed to add to his thing so we could cite that source. It would have taken a while to find it in a print book. So the search function, right? So the functions that you have on this device, really pretty cool. Okay, another function is the interactive function. So most kids, regular students, probably are unaware that the interactive function, especially for a special needs kid, it's night and day. Okay, so we talked about last week, and this is kind of a counter argument for deeper comprehension, higher learning, if you read a print book, not for special needs kids. Anybody on the autistic spectrum, anyone with processing issues, anyone dyslexic, the ebook can reach these learning different students because they require a different approach in how they learn. So ebooks can invite struggling readers, motivating them to want to read. They're more interactive, and you can put your little ear pods in. Let's say you're a 2nd grader and you're struggling with reading, and there's shame in it. There's shame. You can't help being learning different. And I know this because my son was on the autistic spectrum. He didn't have a learning issue per se, because he's incredibly smart, photographic memory, great, graduated valedictorian of his class, but he was dysgraphic. I don't know if you know what that means. He can't write. Like, it's almost illegible, and it's so painful for him, and it takes him twice as long as the average person. It's almost like a physical disability with fine motor skills. And he had services in college, and he would go in and take the test with everybody else. And my husband and I were like, why are you doing that? You can go to the professor's office. You can take the test in there. You can do it on the computer. No one has to know. He felt such shame. He wanted to be like everybody else. Remember, this is my really smart kid. He knew he was different. So the assistive technology found in ebooks can minimize their shame. It can encourage a learning different student to learn with their interactive features. It can modify the text, anything for a visual or auditory impairment. It can modify their learning. So learning different students can access an online dictionary, actually any student, a translator, a text-speech feature, search for keywords, all of the other features, and this helps them, giving them an additional educational aid. And maybe you don't need it if you're a regular learner, but someone who has special issues really needs it. So the higher grade levels, and most of my students said most of their textbooks were online, which I think is so sad. So sad. But I love that. You don't really even need lockers anymore. A lot of my students said you don't have to worry about carrying them around like I did, lugging them around, leaving them at home. But here's the reality. You're issued some kind of school device, whether it's a Chromebook or an iPad, and everything function-wise is on this. So you really get to carry this kind of with you all day long, which makes it convenient and accessible. Then you have this flexibility with supplies. There isn't really a worry about forgetting supplies. Teachers also can integrate video components, quizzes with real-time scoring, homework response questions with this device. So it's much easier for students and teachers to interact when everything is digital. So unlike costly print textbooks, students can have everything in one place, take notes on their textbooks, highlight their textbooks, look at keywords, and have all of the functionality, interactive tools the ebook delivers that you can't find in a print book. And I don't know about you, that's a pretty strong argument, in my opinion. The coolest thing I've learned from this, and I'm really going to change what I do, because do the math. I have 467 books on here that average $14 a piece. That's crazy. So municipal, your local libraries and your school library are now investing in ebook digital libraries. And a lot of my kids this week told me, well, Miss Hensel, they're always checked out. How can that be? And I'm like, I don't know. But, I really need to think about, I could save a lot of money, and do it with, other stuff. Invest it in other things. That's a lot of money on books. Not that I think books are a bad investment. They're the best investment you could possibly make. But I do think that there's a way to do it that's easier and less expensive, right? I don't really like taking extra time to go to the bookstore, and not that there is one anymore. And then when I think about it, when I need a book, maybe the bookstore is closed. The local library, the digital library is open 24/7. Your school library is open digital 24/7. Amazon, anything I want to purchase 24/7, right? So there's no waiting. Remember, I kind of gave you that example with my son. So when it comes to convenience and functionality, I think ebooks, really good argument here, everybody. So what we're going to do with this one, there really aren't the same statistics. There aren't the credible studies that were given for proponents. How do you argue this? So in rhetorical analysis, which you learn in junior and senior AP English, one of the devices you use in argumentative essays is comparing and contrasting two sides. So you're going to have to show what this is print books, but this is what ebooks do. This is print books, but this is what ebooks can do. Print books are this, but ebooks are better. So when you compare them side by side, so I'm going to do body paragraph 1 in your outline and kind of show you how I did that. So first and foremost, ebooks are more convenient, affordable, offering a functionality print books simply cannot compare with. One argument coming from those who prefer reading on ebooks as compared to print books explains this electronic format makes it easy to download files within minutes, allowing them to be stored on one device. Okay, an electronic copy of a book can be uploaded almost immediately to any computer, iPad, smartphone, or ebook tablet device, and then read on a screen. It will be the same format. It will be the same cover. It will be the same, forward. It will be, if there's a sample book for the next one at the end, all of that same information will be on the ebook, the electronic copy. Even better, once the book has been uploaded, the reader will not need access to the internet. They can remain online. Okay, so I gave the example, you go on a long flight, you could hypothetically download 7 books without having to lug 7 print versions. And that's legit. There is a convenience factor. A second argument acknowledges the affordability of ebooks compared to print books. And I literally did lessons in chemistry, and this is on your thing. You have the book, $29. And let's say you're at a bookstore, you pay tax on that. Let's say you buy it on Amazon, you pay shipping on that. My cost online was $14.99. No tax, no shipping, one cost, download cost. So a quick internet search on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and a reader can gain access to a book which may not be available in a store. Maybe they're sold out. Maybe you can't get to the store. Maybe the store is closed. Accessibility online is 24/7. Can't argue with that, right? Finally, ebooks offer the same function of a print book, but with added features that cannot be found with a paper copy. This is font. This is the #1 reason I love a bigger font. Books are also offer multimedia elements which cannot be found on print books, such as searchability. You can search up keywords, find a, it will tell you every place in the book you can find that information. You have digital, or you have audio. You can't get audio, right? And I know you're going to argue audio costs more, but hey, if you're a visually impaired learner, right? And we live in an era of podcasts and ebooks. Amazon even allows customers to sign up for a family library. So you can share digital books. My daughter and I share. She lives in New York, so we share digital copies. So when it comes to convenience and functionality as well as cost, ebooks make life easier for readers. Okay, so I kind of mapped out the body paragraphs. So I want to kind of explain in the lead, really kind of took that from, I did side one, I did proponents first, but really just where ebooks are playing a role today in regular life, in education. A 2019 Pew Research study found ebooks are slowly gaining ground when it comes to popularity. Now, I know last week I told you, print books are still, there's only 9% of ebook sales. The rest are print books or other versions. So ebooks have been kind of slow to gain popularity. But according to this study, by 2025, they predict ebooks will reach 7.78 billion. And compare that to the 2.04 billion of ebooks revenue sold in 2021. Okay. If we go to the conclusion, so I'm just going to go to the very end of your outline. While print books will continue to be in demand, they will be popular. No one can deny the appeal of an ebook. They are more affordable, convenient, and offer a unique functionality that cannot be found with a print book. And this matters a lot in an age of technology. So when it comes to what's best, print books or ebooks, the answer actually may be both. There's no denying some readers learn more towards a print book, and that may be what they're used to, or they enjoy the sensory experience of holding a book. There is room, though, for a portable, more convenient option such as digital readers. The functionality of an ebook is hands down superior to a print book. That is undeniable. What a fantastic argument. There's no concern about carrying a heavy book, misplacing the book, storing the book. It's all on an electronic device. When it comes to affordability, ebooks beat out print books every time. So carrying around an ebook, if you think about it, is like walking around with your own personal library. That can't be done with printed books. It's not even feasible. So in conclusion, it seems, this is the conclusion I've drawn, both print books and ebooks can and should coexist. I think they both offer something important to readers. I do think, and I will end with this, that when it comes to education, you need to try to find the print version. And the way colleges are going and high schools are going, they're going to go to the more ebook version. And when you can buy the textbook, I would suggest that you do. And maybe have the textbook at home when you study and have the ebook version at school, so you have that functionality. But I do think both are going to have to coexist. All right, this concludes opponents of print books, so those who actually favor ebooks. And I will tell you, I got blocked by YouTube when I played a video. So when I do the Zoom class, I'm going to stop playing the videos because they're copyright protected. I'm also going to not put anything up. I'm not going to share the screen anymore. I'm going to have to talk it out like this because I will be blocked for copyright infringement. And I want to, make sure that I am making sure that that person gets credit for their authorship. All right. This is the end. So if you're working during the Thanksgiving break, I hope you have a wonderful break. All right. Catch up.